Perfect, thank you. All right, hello, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a good week. My name is Adriana Barajas Martinez, and for those who don't know me, I serve as the National Board President of the CHCI Alumni Association. And today we are doing a short webinar to talk about elections specifically. So let's go ahead and get started. I believe folks are able to see my screen. So give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Thank you. So today we are covering a couple of things, but before we get started, I'll go ahead and give Pati Mendoza and Yesenia Lopez a chance to introduce themselves. So Pati Mendoza is the CHCI Senior Director of Alumni Affairs, and then Yesenia Lopez serves as the Vice President of the CHCI Alumni Association. And with that, I'll kick it over to them for a quick introduction.
Thank you, Adriana. It's great to always be in community with our alums. As you know, shared, I get the pleasure to lead our national alumni engagement efforts with Dania Castro, who also is on the alumni affairs team. I'm really excited about the possibility of the folks that are here and that are not able to be here, but will watch and are just interested in being engaged, staying engaged with CHCI by giving back with your time and your talent. So excited to see everyone's nominations come in by this weekend's deadline.
Thank you, Patty. Again, this is Yesenia Lopez. I'm definitely grateful to have the opportunity to be here and talking about, this great experience and opportunity for those that want to step up and help it lead. I serve as the Vice President for the National Alumni Board and been in this role previously as an appointed, finishing someone else's term, and then I ran for this position. And it's been rewarding, the opportunity of working with the many incredible leaders. Just briefly, I did the CHCI Public Policy Fellowship class of 2013 to 2014, and I'm coming live to you from Chicago, Illinois. I'll hand it back to Adriana.
Thank you so much, Yesenia. And so today we'll cover a couple of things. One of them will be the timeline, which I think most of you are aware already. I think you've seen on social media, we've shared the elections timeline. We also made some updates to the CHCI leadership roles. So if you haven't had a chance to see those, please go to the CHCI website on the alumni tab. You will, if you scroll down, you will see the tab that will take you directly to the alumni elections website, which there you can actually click the different roles and responsibilities tab as well. And then obviously we'll talk about elections. And now I'm going to kick it over to Yesenia, who will kind of guide us through election timeline and a few other details.
So, hi, everyone, again. So we're looking at the timeline for this election cycle. As you know, nominations have opened. They open on September 16th, and they will be open until October 6th. That is the last day that either you can self-nominate yourself or nominate someone else. And then this information also, had been initially or has been promoted through our various social media accounts. The voting period after the nomination closes is October 9th to October 20th. And then the announcements will go out on the week of October 28th. Individuals will be notified, and then the publicly announcement will roll out from CHCI, who they ask individuals to hold out from publicly announcing anything, because we want to make sure that CHCI alumni they learn at the same time, ideally. And then 2025, the board gets, in a way, installed. I guess it's our version of getting sworn into our positions, and that will be starting on January 1st of 2025. You can go on to the next slide. There we go. Thank you. So other items to keep in mind is we have the transition meeting from the current board to newly elected elected officers. And this is especially for individuals that might be the first time serving, whether it be at the national level or at the local level. And also the new leader virtual pre-orientation to help answer any questions from CHCI staff. And then once individuals have taken, started in their new role in the new year, there will be an overnight retreat for an opportunity for everyone to meet in person and, and help set more of those relationships and start working on the mission and goals for the upcoming cohort of leaders.
Thank you.
Now the national, okay, go ahead, Adriana.
I was gonna say, so do you mind checking to see if there are any folks in the waiting room? Just because I'm not sure if any other folks are.
Not at the moment. A few more have been admitted in the last few minutes.
Perfect, thank you. And then I'll be covering the next two slides and then Jasenia will cover the rest. So on the national board, there's obviously the national board president position, the vice president, which Jasenia serves as that. There's also the vice president of professional development. There's the position as the vice president of communications and digital media. And for that position specifically, we actually made a change this year where we included digital media as well. So that position will include traditional communications, but it will also include all the social media work as well. So just an FYI. And then we also have the position of vice president in civic engagement. And then again, just a reminder, if you have any questions on the role descriptions, please go to the CHCI Alumni website. And there you will be able to see all the, the roles, the time commitment, and everything that entails each position. On the chapters side, the positions, we wanted to keep it very streamlined as well, similar to the national board positions. So we're also, each chapter will have a president, a vice president. They will have a secretary as well, a VP of leadership development, a VP of civic engagement, and a VP of communications and digital media, similar to the national board. So we want the chapter positions to be very similar to the national board. So obviously everything can be streamlined, but also on the chapters, I think depending on who gets elected as president, they can obviously add additional positions, but for now we wanted to keep it to these positions specifically. And then I think just a reminder for everyone here on the call, right now we have 10 chapters, including Chicago, Dallas, Houston, New York City, Northern California, Phoenix, South Florida, San Antonio, Southern California, and Washington, D.C. And now I'll kick it over to Jasenia to cover the remainder of the slides.
Thank you. So for the eligibility, to be eligible to run for any of the leadership positions, you need to have successfully have completed CHCI leadership program, be able to serve a full 2-year term. As mentioned, this will be starting starting of January 1st. And then for regional chapters, reside within 100 miles of the designated chapter metro area and have demonstrated commitment to CHCI and or CHCI Alumni Association's mission and programs, that closely align with that message. Just want to do a quick just edit as we're going through this. I believe it should be stated the full 2-year from 2025 to 2026 on the slide. Can we click on the next one?
I was gonna say that's right. That was a typo on our end. Thanks for flagging that.
Thank you. Guidelines, values, and professional the conduct. Pretty much all of the campaigns, that want to run, or the candidates that are running a campaign to get elected into these positions, should comply and reflect the values of CHCI, and maintain professional behavior both in official CHCI Alumni Association platforms and on personal social media accounts. What there's also a policy on the data use. So candidates may, no candidate may utilize CHCI group emails or listservs or contact databases to solicit a vote. Solicitations. Each candidate and any surrogates must refrain from engaging with an alumni directly, including direct email, phone calls, or texts or DMs. Okay. And a candidate can be disqualified if there is impropriety during election cycle. Election violations report process. So if you come across, whether it be you are running or you see some of this behavior that is in violation of what has been stated, and also there's more information on the webpage and links that Patty has posted on the chat box, including a link to a Q&A where it has a little bit more information. So there's a process for reporting these type of violations. So complete and submit the online election violation reporting form. The election violation process will investigate and determine the candidate in question. And then examples of violations, negative ads and campaigns against opponents, and violations of thank you. Violations of candidate rules. Again, these are more detailed and explained on the website that definitely we ask everyone to review. And when individuals submit their form for candidate, whether it be self-nominated or nominating someone else, it's part of the application that they have read and agree upon these rules. And I think that's the slide. We are good. This is here the QR for the election website. So we ask individuals, if you're using your computer, if you can scan them with your mobile device. If you're coming at us with your mobile device, their links have been added on the chat also for a quicker and easier way for you to access them. And now we will go ahead, or before we go ahead and open it to the Q&A section, I just want to make sure that we gave the opportunity for Patty to add anything else that we might have forgotten or add more information to anything stated.
Thank you, Yesenia, and thank you for walking us through all of this. The only thing I realized that was not on here that we have received some questions is when it comes to the voting period. As you outlined for the region, for those interested serving in a regional chapter role, they must reside within the 100-mile radius. That does not apply, of course, to the national board. For the voting period, only votes from alums who reside in that chapter region can vote for a regional chapter candidate. So if we have somebody running for a position in Southern California, only Southern California alums are eligible to vote, and not for any other chapter or, any other region. Any alum, regardless of where they reside, are able to vote on the national, for any of the national board candidates. That's the only other thing I wanted a point of clarity for folks.
Thank you, Patty. I think we are going to go ahead and open it for Q&A.
Any questions? If you don't feel comfortable asking it, please feel free to put it in the chat as well.
Hi, this is Adriana Salazar from the San Antonio chapter. I apologize, doing mom duty, so I may have missed it, but it's no secret. I've shared with folks I am running for the national board presidency. So I haven't done any like online marketing. Not sure if that's allowed or not, because I wanted to wait for this in case if it's covered again, I apologize. The other component is in terms of like call for nominations, which I know it ends October 6th. Like I do intend to nominate myself, but is there like for folks that are interested to nominate me as well, is that going to be published or is it just the one nomination that will be published per individual running for a particular seat? How does that work? And thirdly, I know we're not supposed to solicit votes. That's crystal clear. But then what's that fine line in terms of asking for sponsorship? Because I am aware that the sponsors are able to, solicit or encourage folks to vote for X candidate for a particular position. Thank you.
So, I mean, I can answer one of the questions. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Patti and Jasenia, but I believe if you are running for any position, whether it's a national board position or a regional chapter position, you can obviously use social media and post that for on your social media. Obviously, I think other folks can post about you as well. I think where there's a problem is the direct, sending folks mass emails about your candidacy and asking for them to vote for you, etc. So I think I hope that answers your question specifically to that. But I will ask Patti to chime in if there's anything else. And Jasenia.
Nothing else to add on my end.
The same, my end is, at least my understanding is you can run a digital campaign as long as it's not sending those, once you make the post, sending it directly to particular followers, or if the post is a combination negative attack and also an ask for a vote, then it would, in that case, it will be considered a violation. But if it's just your campaign of saying, vote for me, directly as a general post, my understanding that is okay.
And then Adriana, on your other question about self-nomination, I believe folks can self-nominate or can nominate anybody. And I believe what would happen is once we have a list of those nominations, depending if there's any alums who were nominated by somebody else, Patti and myself, who now I'm going to start serving as the elections chair, would reach out to the person and basically give them an update or the info that, hey, you've been nominated for this position, and we want to check in with you and see if you would like to run, etc., or accept the nomination.
And now I'll add to that, because I think there was a second part to the question. The other part was, if there's multiple nominations, like, does that get shared out? It does not. So as long as there's a self-nomination or somebody nominates, then the candidate will make the slate for voting. I think you had a third question, Adriana. Yes, me olvidó. You like hit us with all the questions, and I think I lost the third one.
I've been asked by folks, they were happy to, bat for me, but I think considering that it's not going to be shared, then I would just say, save your time. If you're tight on time on those kind of things, so I will do that. Now I will use my personal account to kind of post that. Now that I know that that's an available, is there a particular template that we have to adhere, or like I created my own, I could use that? And the other part is, I'm part of the San Antonio chapter. I don't have exclusive control of that account. It's shared by board members. What would be the advice on that? Would that way I could tell them, hey, I appreciate your support, but just use your personal account. Don't use our alumni chapter shared account. Yeah.
Yeah, I would abstain from using the CHCI alumni accounts, social media accounts. It all has to go through your personal account. And then the other thing that I would mention is that if folks feel, if other alums feel compelled to share whatever you put on your Facebook, like to put it on their story, they can do that.
Yeah,
It's just more the direct outreach. But
super
if folks want to
excited.
like repost, yeah, if folks want to repost your info or your candidacy or whatever, you know, post you post, I think they're able to do that. Hi, Kayla.
I'll just say, and that I think speaks to what was part of your question about the surrogate. That is a way that someone can support a candidate, in ways that Adriana mentioned. So maybe it's a way to redirect that energy to support an alum that's running, versus submitting multiple nominations of an alum.
I think Kyla D has the hand up.
Yes, yes, it's Kyla. Thank you. I just want to make it very clear. So I can't, if I'm running for position, I can't reach out to like a former cohort member on Instagram and ask for their vote.
I think you can tag them, which
Yeah, like not
your post,
post.
which is still, it's not like you're doing direct outreach, it's you're doing an awareness.
So that's what I'm saying. So me messaging them on Instagram is direct outreach.
I'll let Bati answer that. I think that is considered direct outreach, but again, I think there's a loophole, which is reposting and tagging people because you're not directly doing it. You are making them
Yeah.
aware in a different way.
Yeah. I'm just interesting to know now because I feel like a lot of my cohort members, like I don't have their phone numbers. I just text them on Instagram, but I'll keep this all noted. Thank you.
Jonathan?
Hi, everyone. Jonathan from New York City. I just had a quick question. So will there be any like candidate forums at the national level and at the regional chapter level where each candidate will be able to, present their platforms? And will it be administered by CHCI or each individual regional chapter?
I'm happy to jump in here. Great question, and happy to know that everyone here is interested in running for a position. So while there is no candidate forums, it's a virtual forum. So when you all submit your nomination or if you're nominated and then you accept, you will see that the form will ask for your headshot, for your resume, your CV, and a statement of like intent. There's a prompt to it, like the why. What we do is we then create the current elections landing page is worked on for a week, which is why we need a week to gather all that information and then update the elections webpage. And then everyone will be directed back to the same webpage to view the slate of all of the alum, both national and regional, that are running, and we'll be able to, see the full profile of all the information submitted.
Are there any other questions?
Oh no, Jonathan just lower his hand. I thought he had a follow-up question.
No, thank you.
Anything else that we can, like, especially from Jasenia and myself, me serving as the National Board President and Jasenia as the Vice President, is there any questions that we can answer for any folks who perhaps are thinking of running for our positions? I'm happy to be, very candid of any other questions that you have, so please feel free to ask away.
I also want to mention, Adriana Salazar, is there an additional question? No, okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't clear by they'll come in. Okay.
Oh,
So,
sorry. I wrote it on the chat in terms of, again, crystal clear, cannot solicit your vote. I can't say, hey, Yesenia, vote for me I've declared my candidacy for, X seat, but the sponsorship element is available as captured on the FAQ, but just like, is there any decorum around that, how to ask that, or can we just clearly say, hey, can you be my sponsor and champion, me for X seat?
I'll let Patty answer that one.
That is correct. As you understand it, that is correct.
Thank you.
And then I think Patty shared this before, but I'm putting the FAQ sheet in case in case you have any other questions here, just put it on the chat. So feel free to read that through if you're thinking of running. Any other questions, comments, concerns? And I think for many folks, maybe this seems like, oh, these are hard rules to follow, but I think they were set in place because I think the part of the reason is because I think CHCI and the Alumni Association wants to, a lot of folks have shared their emails, their contact info with CHCI, with the CHCI Alumni Association, and it just wouldn't be fair for folks to bombard their emails and messages with all this info every 2 years. I think that's part of the reason that this, the rules were set. Is there anything else that, Patty, Jasenia, any other thoughts from you both?
Yeah, I just wanted to also briefly add that, a lot of these rules, like Adriana mentioned, they might seem a little bit very strict, but also we want to make sure that, with CHCI that we stay within the values, right? We see each other's family. And we appreciate everyone who says, I'm ready to step up and become a leader within CHCI in a new way. We appreciate, you taking the time even to consider it. And whether, you get elected by your fellow alumni or not, we still want you to be engaged and be working together. And for us, to prevent having any of those relationships being, burned or whatnot, just because of competition, right? It's like we're all doing it for the right reasons. How can we continue uplifting the CHCI community and alumni association as a whole? And I think that's where this is morely coming from with these rules. And then also, again, I want to share briefly that, and as a vice president, it's been such a great opportunity. I've also have served at the local level with our Chicago regional chapter in a different capacity. And it's very self-rewarding knowing that you're able to work with others along the way and help, and also sharing your experience with individuals that might be interested in applying for the CHCI program. So I hope everyone that it's joining this webinar is able to submit their application.
Yeah, and I agree with Jasenia. Serving as a national board president was, amazing, such an amazing and rewarding experience for the last 2 years. And I've had an amazing group of, the national board has been incredible to work with, as well as the chapter leaders. And we've done so much, work over the last 2 years, so many events, so many just different things. The excitement has been there. But I believe that the best is yet to come for the Alumni Association. So if you feel in your heart that you want to run for my position, please do so. I encourage you to run it, to run for it, to submit the nomination form as well. Or if you're interested in running for a different position, please, please do it. Please, we need more folks who stand up and lead. And you have our support, and I'm here also in case you have any other questions. I'll put my email in the chat as well, in case you want to just reach out to me directly and have a conversation about what my position entails. But thank you all for being here. Anything else? Any other questions, comments, concerns? Jonathan?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there's anywhere where we can find like examples of prior, people who have ran like the different graphics that they've put out, like their platform, I guess. Is there anywhere we can find that?
Absolutely. I can share mine with you. What I
Oh,
used
perfect.
when I ran.
Thank you so much. I'm putting my email in the chat.
I will also encourage you, Jonathan, if you have social media, just searching on the quick search, you might come across some of the most recent ones. And I'll say follow the last term, because that's when right now the guidelines that we have in place are reflective, started in the last term. Anything prior might not fall align with with the current guidelines. And Adriana Salazar.
Um, yeah, so personal social media account, I will post. The question is, are we able to tag like at CHCI or no?
I think you can tag at CHCI, but CHCI will probably not repost it because it's you know what I mean? It's a part of our
Gotcha.
election. Yeah.
Okay,
But
okay,
we
sounds good.
can repost, I mean, you can tag the CHCI Alumni Association, CHCI as well. But I think the goal is for us not to repost any content from anyone who is running. Because we don't want to show favoritism, obviously. But I think we will be posting reminders for folks to vote. That's gonna be a constant thing that we'll be doing when the voting period starts. We'll be reminding folks to vote. And you know what I mean? But we won't be, we won't be posting or reposting anything from anybody who's running.
Perfect, thank you. Just want to make sure I'm in compliance.
And again, the rules are set like this time, but it doesn't mean that in the next 2 years, when there's a new board, doesn't mean that they can't change. I just want to remind folks that rules can change. Or the guidelines can change. I should say the word guidelines, not rules. All right, well, I think this is it, unless there's anything else. Patty, is there anything else from your end?
Nothing else to add, other than looking forward to seeing everyone's nominations come in. Don't forget, deadline is October 6th, so that is the Sunday.
Quick question, actually, before I know we are all live across the country, so different time zones. Do you know what time zone does it close?
Midnight Eastern. As long as it comes in by October 6th, it'll be fine. If it's like by October 6th, midnight, any time zone, it's really fine. Once it flows over to Monday morning, right? That's when it's no longer eligible, but midnight Eastern.
And as a reminder, I think this was mentioned earlier, but the term is for 2 years, so if you run and you win the position, you would start January 1st of 2021 and it would end December 31st of 2026. Jonathan?
I'm sorry, I just have one last question, and I'm not sure if you guys want to answer it or not, but I just wanted to know, since you guys both were elected, president, vice president, if you can share how many votes you guys got in order to win.
That is a great question, and I think Patty may have that information.
We actually don't share that publicly. It is.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, it's reviewed by the election committee and the chair, which is made up of Adriana and the Alumni Affairs team. Yes, and then notify the alums, but the quantity, it is right, you know, given on that. But the exact amount isn't shared publicly.
Also wanted to
Just-
add that, that committee, is, the individuals serving the committee are individuals that are not seeking to run or getting reelected. Just to, you know, make sure that, there is no personal bias.
Exactly, to Jasenia's point, I am serving as the elections chair, but I am not running for my position. So I will help Patty and Dania oversee the process and the votes. Anything else? Any last minute questions? All right, well, thank you all for being here, and thank you again for you know, for hopefully deciding based on this conversation that you do want to run and that you will submit your nomination form. And thank you for stepping up. And again, put my email in there, so please reach out if you have any questions. And thank you again. Have a good evening.
Thank you,
good night.
ladies.
Thank
Buena-
you.
Just to make sure we have it recorded, right? I didn't want to end it beforehand.